prepared for battle.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, made one of his street soldiers a fence thing. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know it just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch and spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Get it on down. Select and make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select and make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select and make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select and make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, made one of his street soldiers a fence thing. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know it just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life, cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch and spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip. Get it on down. Select and make your first pick. Get it on down.
Hey, what is up, interwebs? It is your boy, GQ Agent Dude. Welcome back to another episode of Gamer Quotient / Gaming Academy. It's been a couple weeks. Did you guys miss me? A lot of things have happened on my end. Stuff's just going on. The weather is changing. People getting sick. People getting better. Towerborn being played and study halls to be had. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that session of study hall and took part in the amazing experience of Towerborn. I've been playing that over the weekend and I'm having a blast. So awesome! Welcome back for another show. If it's your first time here, we welcome you. This is where we study games, the industry all around us, and lessons that they leave behind. So if you're looking for a place to come hang out and enjoy video games, learn from them, and apply them to enrich your life, you're in the right spot. So tonight's class will begin with the Headmaster's desk. I know we're going to jump right into it, but hey, we're 2 weeks behind and we're going to catch up. We're going to continue this with the plight of what we call the publisher. Part 2, the developer shift. Last time we talked about how the developers are coming up on this industry, and we're going to follow up on that with a little bit with a submission from Jagos as well. Because this conversation isn't get bigger and bigger, especially just like the publishers that we have now. Tonight, we're also going to shift the lens to the developers / creators, the builders, and the ones carrying the weight to the industry while also trying to survive it. Yeah, it's crazy out there. And more than ever before, we're watching what happens when talented people realize they don't need to wait for permission to create something powerful on their own terms. Well, that's where tonight's lesson begins. Also, after we're going to be doing another Memory Card Chronicles where we travel through the week in gaming history. Tonight, that means memories, debate, and some real range from Ninja Gaiden 2 all the way to the brutal challenge and the infamous legacy of Daikatana. Hey, we'll throw in some crazy taxi as well. King of Fighters 12 and even a conversation of over Alundra versus Midnight Club 3. So stay tuned. Then we'll hit quick bites across the rumor mill with Nick breaking down the latest stories, signals, and whispers from around the industry. Because an informed gamer doesn't just hear the news, they understand what it means. And tonight, in place of the tech, Ace is going to give us a quick Academy spotlight on Yoshihisa Kishimoto, the creator of Kunio-kun and Double Dragon, because around here, we know exactly what his work means. And some creators don't just make games, they help build genres. They shape memories, and when someone like that passes, we take a moment to show respect. Also, we'll have Oliver. He's on deck with the Watchdog, helping the class find value when money's tight and choices matter. So, whether you came here for the lesson, the nostalgia, or the industry talk, we all have love for the craft. You're in the right place, guys. Welcome to class because we're going to start the session now. All right. Well, let me get everybody in here because you know you love them, you miss them. Let's get all the faculty members in here. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves. Why are you here? Who are you? Why do you have my money?
Jeez.
Excellent questions all. I'll start us off. So for the folks that are here for the first time, name's Ace Nelson, Blazing Ace Nelson. I'm the professor of applied sciences here. If you're looking for, gaming strategy for some of your favorites, if you're looking for someone to share, if you're looking for someone to share your obsession with beat 'em ups and Muso games, then I'm the guy you look to. I'm the enemy officer you need to defeat.
Oh no!
You are the Lubu.
That was powerful. Do not pursue.
Pop
You
it
said
into
all that
reverse.
shit, and I was just gonna say I'm old. I'm like, damn, I don't know how to follow that up.
Lead
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
lead with that.
Like I am old actually. I'm the old guy, right? I'm like God. I already forgot homie's name in Lord of the Rings. Who
Aragorn?
was there with Isildur?
Isildur?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Elrond.
Elrond.
Elrond, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know why it slipped my mind. I'm like Elrond to video games. I was there. Anything that happened in game history from like 1986 forward, I was there for, and I have a great deal of context for, and that's why I'm the Dean of Students and History 101 around here. I almost always have some kind of strange little anecdote or something that happened of just like, really? That happened? It's like, yeah, it's weird industry. On top of that, I always spend a lot of time looking for good deals for people because I'm cheap. I'm cheap. I'm broke. I'm broke, son. And I think everyone else probably is too. And I don't think anyone hates saving money at any point. So I'm the value-driven gamer more than anything else.
Well, to take it from Oliver, I am not as old, but I'm a new dad and I'm poor. So it's very easy for me to talk to him about that.
There's your
I'm
1-2
Nick.
punch.
I have been in the gaming industry for roughly 20 years. I'm not in it anymore. I used to work in gaming retail for a very long time. In fact, I worked with James there right above me on the panel. Ace would come to shop with me from time to time, and Oliver and I share stories all the time now on the back end because I did get to work for Xbox for a little bit. So I try to bring a little bit of perspective of talking about what happens in the industry, a little bit from what I know, and really focusing on the news. Just trying to keep everyone informed, remembering some of the things that we have lost as well through my retrospectives that I do once a month. So that's what I bring to the panel.
Awesome. Hey, just like the Infinity Stones, we've gathered them all together to give you this wonderful show. All right, guys. So, with that said, let's. Yeah, I'll do it myself. Yeah, and we need one more though. We need one more somewhere. We're gonna get there. But with that said, let's jump into the desk of the headmaster with the headmaster's desk. All right, cool. For clipping reasons, I will use this format now instead of going to the office. So yeah, it's just the
that old
there.
speaker system gets upgraded finally.
Yeah, it's actually broken right now. It's broken. The 19
someone went in the headmaster's office and shattered the microphone.
The 1954 ham radio that I have in there does not work. All right, so. Submission crossed my desk, and this one speaks to something happening right now, not just in gaming, but the structure of power itself. We often talk about publishers, their influence, their decisions, their missteps, but today we're going to shift the lens a little bit because this isn't just about publishers anymore. We're going over to the developer side. One of the hardest paths in the industry is becoming a developer, not just learning the craft, but surviving the system itself. Because the truth, this industry has a reputation. It chews people up and spits them out. And yet people still choose it. Why? Because at the core of it all is something stronger than structure, stronger than money, stronger than stability. And that is creation. Shout out to Jagos for submitting this on my desk, continuing his last submission. More on that later. But yes, there was a time when publishers held all the power. If you wanted to create, you needed. If you wanted to create, you needed them, but that time is now changing. Today, publishers are no longer the gate; they are a resource, and the most talented, the most driven, are proving something they can build without them. We're seeing industry veterans step away from major studios, and alongside them, a new wave is rising. Small teams, solo developers, independent creators with nothing but an idea and the will to see it through. And here's where it gets interesting. When a developer succeeds, it doesn't just create a great game, it shifts the industry. When a game like Stardew Valley rises and begins to eclipse something like Harvest Moon, where does the attention go? Where does the money go? It doesn't return to the system, it moves outside of it. And that is where the real shift begins, because every success story like this isn't just a win for the developer. It's proof. Proof that you don't need to wait, proof that you don't need permission, and proof that innovation is no longer centralized. There was a story, a solo developer, 4 years of work, grinding in silence, no guarantees, no safety net, and in 1 week, their game made $250,000. And the response? I don't deserve this. That's not just a story, guys. That is a signal. A signal that passion, execution, connection with players can now rival and even surpass the traditional system. And for publishers, that creates a problem because one of their greatest assets has always been developer talent. But what happens when that talent realizes they have options? Well, they leave, they build, they create their own terms. And now publishers aren't just competing with each other, they're competing with freedom. And if they fail to adapt, if they fail to learn from their missteps, their greatest threat won't come from within the industry. It will come from outside of it, from the very people who once built it. Yeah. So that is the Headmaster's Desk submission to Jagos. Gentlemen, any feedback, takeaways from that?
Honestly, just considering a lot of what's been going on these last couple weeks with Crimson Desert, it's like we're seeing proof positive of that very discussion that you just started. You've got developers, especially longtime veterans, that are stepping out from under the umbrella of the publishers that they previously walked hand in hand with to say, to give them the old Thanos, I'll do this myself. And they do, and people take notice.
I want to say, just based on that, just because I've talked about this a lot on the pod. Any new viewers will not have heard some of my rants about it, but the biggest thing about the gaming industry that I've learned is that it chews you up because of that passion that you have going into it. There's so many people willing to take your place. That's why they can be so quick to let those people out or get rid of them for whatever reason, because there's always someone new who wants to fill that void. Happen at GameStop all the time. There's always people who want to work there. Maybe not nowadays as much, but there's a lot of desperate people out there, and it's something you think you'd be passionate about. The amount of people that came in when James and I were working to say like, "Oh, you guys must just play games all day." It's like, no, literally retail. It just happens to be video games. It'd be the same if it was T-shirts, man. I'd be folding shirts instead of alphabetizing titles. Like, it's that. It's nice that there is wins for people that can go and do this, but there's plenty of people who get chewed up, spit out, and can't create something new, who don't have that backing, who don't have that same kind of experience or financial ability to create a new team. So there's a lot of things that are lost too.
Yeah, true.
That's what I got. Not to be a downer. Look, I've been having to do the news the last couple of weeks. We haven't done shows, and I'll say it right at the beginning of Quick Bites tonight, but there's been a lot of just daggers to the heart the last couple of weeks, so it's just not a fun time.
It's
been rough out there in the streets.
When you grow up and you start actually realizing how things are, I feel like, we're old, or I'm old, and Oliver and I are old. Oh man, kind of wish I was just still a kid enjoying the product, rather than just like, oh my god, this is crazy. So
Yeah.
all right. Any other takeaways, guys?
All done.
All right. Well, Jagos, thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. And if you have a submission for the Headmaster's Desk, just find us in our Discord, go to the Headmaster's Desk section, and go ahead and you say, "Hey, James, I'd like you to talk about this." And we'll put you on the show if you choose it. Fantastic. Here's some closing thoughts for the section. What happens when the system is no longer required? And what do you do when you realize you don't need permission to create? Okay, so just think about that, and just throw it in the Discord, guys. So awesome. That is the Headmaster's Desk. All right. Well, this is, of course, I don't know. We have to take a poll, guys. What is the favorite segment of the show? Like, what is the most popular, or just like people are looking forward to it each week? I think gaming history is a good one. Nice balance, relates to everybody. So yeah, let's just jump right through it and go for this week in gaming history. Where we got? There we go.
Find that button.
It's right there. It's been 2 weeks. I forgot where everything was. So
someone came in and messed up the whole.
All right. No, all good. So yeah, if it's your first time here, guys, this is the segment of the show where we take part and take the class on a trip on memory lane, talk about gaming history. We cover from week to week, Sunday to Sunday. In this case, it is from April 5th all the way to April 11th. And we're going to kick this off, starting with Oliver, with a little bit of what would they call the Shovel of Night.
Oh boy,
the Spectre of Torment. That's
so
aggressive.
Right. That it's very specific, but I remember when Shovel Knight came out. We were kind of hitting that point in time when the original Shovel Knight released. And it was clearly a great homage to multiple genres from that NES era, but most notably, I mean, just looking at the video on screen, that's Mega Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were the Yacht. What is their name? Yacht Club. Yeah, Yacht Club. Really committed to a full DLC schedule for this game, and they updated it for like, oh god, I want to say maybe over the course of 7 years or so. And there were a series of DLCs that were like, oh, okay, you're going to do a DLC just like everyone else. Well, the actual truth of the matter is they basically made sequels inside of Shovel Knight. They are fully realized. It's not like, oh, here's 2 or 3 little rinky-dink levels and away you go. No, they're like really like it's just a sequel. It's like going from playing Mega Man X to playing Mega Man X2. It's like, no, it's just an actual proper game, and the quality level is so insane. The reason I wanted to take the time to point out Spectre of Torment is it plays so differently from Shovel Knight Core that you don't realize you're actually fucking playing Tony Hawk. You're playing Tony Hawk, but as the Reaper for some reason, and the platforming in there was straight up bonkers. It's nuts. Once you get the later stuff, I'm telling this homie is over here. I'm telling you, he's doing a 50-50 fucking grind on that site. I ain't never seen no shit like that in my life. And I was like, that's notable. but it's amazing to see. It's hard as shit. It is just insanely difficult, but you're so satisfied when you pull it off. It's not insanely difficult. It's not like impossible difficult, but the way that this particular expansion, I don't even know what to call it anymore, is structured, it takes you right to that edge of I cannot do this nonsense, and then boom, you just got it, and you're getting the context and the backstory of all the Knights of No Quarter and why they were positioned in the core narrative with Shovel of Hope, which is what the main campaign is called, right? Like why they're there in the first place, and it's really interesting. I mean, I also remember at this point in time that Yacht Club had done something just amazing console-wise, which was they were like, look, here's the thing. We're going to have all these DLCs, right? We had Shovel Knight, but if you buy this, Shovel Knight treasure trove, over the years, it doesn't matter. We're going to update that, and you're just going to get those DLCs for free. So it was a really just buy in now for like $35 and we're going to make sure it happens. Well, they committed. They followed through on every single thing they did. It took years, but the quality is there. And Shovel Knight is a game not to be missed. Also, for a lot of the people that watch me stream, this is the first thing they ever saw me play. And they realized I wasn't just some punk ass journalist. They're like, "Oh no, you go hard." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what are you guys dealing with? And that's how I found out how bad things were. Like, no,
they probably didn't even think you were a journalist because you're like, you're actually good.
Right.
You know?
Right. It came up. It's like, oh, does he know how to play? And then of course I got, I caught most of my real street cred from playing Monster Hunter. They're like, oh, you're about this type. I'm like, man, I've been doing this since I was like 22. Like,
Yeah,
let's
that's
go.
one thing that Oliver didn't mention in his little intro for people that are
Yeah,
new is that he did actually, he was a journalist as well. Like it wasn't just he's just old and he plays games. Like,
No. I did game journalism for some years, and for me, it was always about getting information, real useful information to players about what they do. That's also why my segment, The Watchdog, is what it is, because that's really where I put a lot of my focus on. I love doing buyer beware. I don't like seeing people get burned, even especially today. And I hope that's going to come up, but this shit's getting expensive. Woo, the price increases are getting rough out there in the streets, boys. So I'm like, I don't know if I can help find a brother a good, at least 10, 20, 30-hour game and he pays $2 for it. No, I'm gonna track that down.
I can't even make a joke about Doritos either because the price of Dorito bags have gone to like $8 or something like that, man.
It's fucking crazy.
Rough out there.
That hurts my soul.
Yeah. We can't even have fun nights. We're like, hey, let's get together, have a LAN party, have like pizza rolls and Doritos. It's like, nah, it's too expensive, man.
Right? Don't go to McDonald's. It's hard.
Yeah, it's real bad.
It's funny you guys bring up Doritos because I actually downgraded to Juanitas because I can't afford Doritos anymore. So now it's Juanitas for me.
Oh my goodness! But yes, Shovel Knight, Spectre of Torment is a great expansion just by itself. It's standout. All of Shovel Knight is good. If you like platformers and you like the classic Mega Man style games, if you like any basically 2D platformer, hyper focused stuff from the NES, you're not going to miss on Shovel Knight. No, it's clean. Shit, I might go play it again, just because it's the game you go back to. But that's what I got for today.
Fantastic, man. It's funny because like you brought that up, and I know recently you just had I'm gonna say tweeted because I don't know what the other term is about Wizards and Warriors, right?
Yes.
And I was like,
yes.
and those graphics were like, dude, I miss Wizards and Warriors because of those graphics also. So those were very notable graphics for that.
I'm so mad about it. I'm mad to this day. I was a little itty bitty cuss when Wizards and Warriors in 3 dropped, right? And that game is gangster, man. They do not care. They hated kids. That's how you know it's good. Yeah. They hated kids. Yeah, that game beat my ass.
I feel like in the future, the difficulty slider should be like, we hate kids. Like the highest one should be that. It's like retro difficulty.
From I'm too young to die to we hate kids.
We hate kids.
Right? Go to that Wolfenstein thing. Hurt me more, daddy. And all that crazy shit.
Quarter muncher.
Oh, yeah. No, they hated us. Man, I really want Wizards and Warriors back.
The image is just Akuma demon raging a child. That's exactly what it is.
Casually.
That's what it is. So, all right, we're going to move over to the next day here on the 6th of April. We're going to go back a little bit with Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos. This was my pick for the week. And man, I have a story for this. I actually owned this game before I owned Ninja Gaiden 1. I actually did not even know Ninja Gaiden existed until Ninja Gaiden 2, right? Man, look at this box art, first of all. When I saw this on the shelf, I was like, hold on, I'm a ninja. There's dragons in it. There's a Dark Sword of Chaos somewhere. And also Tecmo says hard to beat on the front. And I was like, what does that mean? Is the price is hard to beat or the game hard to beat? I don't know. I'm a child. I'm just going to play this. And boy, it is very hard to beat. So they weren't lying. They really definitely.
It wasn't the price.
Well, here's the thing. They may have hated kids, but this game has made me hate birds because this game is so frustrating, and they know what they were doing in this game because every time you try to make a leap for a segment, a bird would just randomly pop up mid jump and then knock you back into the pit, and that was on purpose. That they were doing that on purpose. So that is my awful history for this
What
game.
version are we looking at here?
Is this
I'm not
Amiga?
familiar with this one.
It
It's
has
got
to
to be
It's got to be like a
It's a-
PC version.
because it sure the hell ain't
PC.
the NES version.
No,
Is it
it's definitely
PC
not the
version?
NES version.
It's PC.
PC. Okay, like the fidelity is like way cleaner, but like it definitely runs at like 15 frames a second. So, yeah, oddly enough, I actually found this game a little bit easier than the first game because I went ahead and played the first one. And it may be because of the tool set. Like this one, you had ninja clones, right? So you had like triple the firepower technically because they were emulating all your attacks. But the first one didn't have that. And your best friend in the first one was the pinwheel of fire, because that was something that got you across the whole stage. But notable thing for this game, and this is amazing right now from what I'm seeing, probably my first experience with
there's the
cutscenes
real
in video
Ninja Gaiden.
games. Right? Like I've never really seen cutscenes in video games until this game, in an action game at least. Right? Contra didn't really have cutscenes. I think Jackal maybe had one cutscene, right?
Right. I mean, the OG Ninja Gaiden is like among the first, if not the first, video game to actually have like
a
legit
story
cinematic
cutscene, right? Yeah, and like I said, I started with 2, so I didn't even know 1 existed. So I had to go back and try it out, and there's a whole ass story to this game, and the fact that like this is a strict sequel to it, and like there's just more story. There's the bats, right? But this game has has made me fear jumping across chasms. Like I just gonna be a bird popping up. I swear.
On principle.
Yeah, like you're just PTSD now. Like right there, I would be like, "There's a bird coming." I know there is a bird coming. So, yeah, that is my story of Ninja Gaiden 2, the Dark Sword of Chaos.
Now, what's fun is this is the one and only Ninja Gaiden I've ever beaten.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like, and I think that Ninja Gaiden 1. Now we talk about developers hating kids. No, when they made Ninja Gaiden, they fucking hated everybody. They were like, we hate kids, grown-ups, teenagers. We hate geriatric people.
All ages.
We fucking hate anyone. Give your money. Play it anyway.
They went to the sole bad guy school and thought, I don't give a shit how old you are. Think before you pick a fight next time.
It's brutal, but this is the one that's really feels even, like across the board. Like it's all approachable. Given enough time and practice, it doesn't punish you the same way like the final stage of Ninja Gaiden 1 did.
Yep.
And I it was so interesting how different the console and we'll say home ports instead are versus the arcade game, right?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Because we punched out a lot of telephone booths back in the day. But more importantly, that was the first time I was traumatized by a video game. Look, they guilt tripped the fuck out of us. If you did not put another fucking quarter,
I was going to say it's the continue screen, wasn't it? It was the continue screen.
It's so detailed. I'm like, no, they're gonna kill him. We can't. We gotta put another quarter in there. No, it was a trap. So not only did they hate us, they were good at manipulating us.
Final fight was it for me with the dynamite, right?
Oh yes.
So that was
and the knife. Click.
Yep, Where
did that knife come from?
It was the character that you didn't pick, right? So if it was Hager and Cody, it was Guy throwing that knife. In my brain, child brain, that's what I thought. That's what it was.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then what about the continue screen for Mortal Kombat 4?
What is the continue screen in Mortal Kombat 4? Oh, you're falling in the pit?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
That is stress distilled into a screen.
Well, you must have not played Mortal Kombat Mythologies because you see that screen a lot.
Yeah, I have.
All right. Well, wow, this is a box art I haven't seen in a while. We're gonna move over to the 7th here, specifically on the N64 for this little gem here. Nicholas, tell us more.
I can tell you some things. Probably some people in chat. I see Jago's already dropping the ellipsis up there. Well, look, April 7th had some big moments in the past. Like one of the ones I was looking at leading up to this day was Atlas, a company that we all have some favorite games out of. They were founded in 1986 on this day. I mean, Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena in 2009, Team Fortress Classic in 1999. Heck, even Broforce in 2014. I know we've talked about that a lot on the pod as well. But I really wanted to highlight this game. I can't get past it. I try to change it up every time we come around to this day in gaming history, but I can't. It holds a spot in my heart, even if it's like evil and twisted. But Daikatana is gracing our memories again on this day, remembered as one of the most notorious failures in gaming history. It is the classic poster child of hubris, hype, and mismanagement. From its infamous ad campaign that wanted us to suck it down, infamous broken AI sidekicks, and multiple delays that had it being considered vaporware at the time, this game was released and was immediately outdated. As you can see, like with what we're seeing here on the screen now, this is someone's PC version, so it's a little bit updated, it was a little bit rougher, but I mean, it had an engine change during development, like at the very end. They just had to like change it because of everything that was happening. If you haven't read, again, I'm going to shout it out. If you haven't read Masters of Doom, if you're interested in gaming history at all, read that book. It covers Romero leaving id and doing Daikatana and everything behind the scenes that was happening with this. Like I said, hubris was a huge part of it at this time. To this day, it kind of remains one of the worst games of all time, and it's on a lot of people's lists. But maybe with a little bit of benefit of hindsight, I could say it was a little misunderstood and maybe judged a little too harshly. I mean, they're definitely that first level when it's nothing but just green sewer marsh, just a palette. It's the first thing you see when you get into the game. Turned off a lot of people, and that AI was bad. I mean, having an AI companion called Superfly, first off, and just full of all kinds of just terrible lines is one thing, but they were just broken. You literally couldn't finish the game at some points because they would get like hung up on things. It was just bad. But nowadays, especially with some of the updates that people have kind of pushed out for it, or just like the benefit of better technology nowadays to kind of like bootstrap it a little bit, I don't think it's a terrible game. It's definitely of the era, and the idea behind it was cool. You can kind of see the vision for it. Like I said, it's that benefit of hindsight. Yeah, at the time, this was just, it was awful. But playing it nowadays, just like for the lulls, even if you will, like there's a lot here that is kind of classic about this kind of era of gaming, at least in my opinion. Anyway, I don't know about you guys, if you had a chance to play around with this. I thought, you kind of going through different eras essentially in times and kind of running around, it was a little bit unique, and it was something that I think, if done a little bit better, maybe it would have stand out. Oliver, I know you got a lot of information on the stuff that went wrong with this one. What's your take on Daikatana?
I was messing with my earpod. I feel like I'm a reporter out on the street.
This just in, game is trash.
This just in. This is the first game in history to call their player base a bitch in their advertisement.
He's
Game
right,
tanks, no one is sure why. Back to you, Nick. That's what I got. Like, they called you a bitch.
That's all you need.
I'm like, I'm not buying you a game. Close the fucking EGM and walk off.
The crazy thing about that too is like it wasn't even
ask for my money.
Yeah, that wasn't even Romero's idea either. That was the publisher. I believe the publisher, or at least the marketing people, that came in with that and were like, we should do this, because notorious trash talker when he was doing lands and stuff, running id and doing the conventions and stuff. But yeah, man, what a misstep.
Yeah, man, they but it's okay. Like I think it's okay. As I get older, and look back on the history of games, I start to realize that a lot of the missteps that we see are missteps that needed to happen. They literally, their reach exceeded their grasp here. They bit off more than they could chew, right? It was just a clear case of hubris, right? And everyone got to see exactly what not to do. Like all the things that went down with Daikatana are things you don't do, and most developers and publishers don't do that shit now. So maybe it's a good thing it happened. I mean, we hate to see failure, see hype just completely crater something. But at the same time, if people are smart and they follow the lesson, well, it's like, well, what if nobody learned?
Warning labels
Right?
exist for a reason.
Right.
Also,
It's just like that. Surgeon General's warning: don't touch this shit. It will give you cancer. There.
Yeah, I mean, like Jacob said, you need failure. I mean, this failure in particular, though, like almost completely cratered Romero. Like for a long time, he stepped away because of like what went down with this, and he came back later. Luckily, I mean, if you haven't played Sigil, if you're a fan of like old school Doom, like definitely play that. It was really cool. Yeah, no, this is like it really is one of those things that, given a little bit of history and understanding what happened with that, like there were some things that could have come out of this and it wouldn't have been such a failure. But hey man, it's of the times. It is what it is. If you ever want to go down the rabbit hole, there's tons of creators who've done a lot of coverage of this. I know Matt McMuscles did a what happened to it that's really quick and clean. If you're looking for a deep dive, there's actually a local content creator named Ruby Ranger who did like a 7.5 hour like deconstruction of Daikatan. It's super, super interesting. He's a really cool guy. Met him here in town. It is in depth. I put it on in the background over the course of a few days, almost like an audiobook, and listened. It was really, really cool to see.
Cool.
But it's a commitment.
That's a deep dive.
Yeah, deep dive.
That's a work day. Like, holy shit.
That's a shift.
He said clock in. You're watching like, oh, okay. I bet it's good though, but
Don't forget you're here forever.
right. Like I gotta watch that over the course of a week.
You might be able to beat Daikatana in the time that's finished. I mean, maybe take that as a challenge.
There you go. Yeah, can I beat Daikatana before this actual
Before this, what happens?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Also, Ace, I feel like these three characters could be in Anarchy Reigns, but like the Western version. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't that look like an Anarchy Reigns?
Is tolerated.
Yeah. Let's not give him any ideas, but yeah.
Please no.
Speaking of crazy ideas, this next one here is from our own Blazing Ace Nelson on April 8th. Crazy Taxi, Catch a Ride.
Catch a
Wow.
ride.
Now this one right here, even I was just completely gobsmacked when I first got it. Believe it or not, there actually was a GBA port of the Dreamcast Classic. Like if you wanted to play Crazy Taxi on the go,
Let's go.
you honestly would be forgiven for actually going for the GBA port, Catch a Ride. It's that kind of game where you want to know what kind of dark magic they did to fit all that on a cartridge. This is the Street Fighter Alpha 2 of GBA ports.
How you do this?
Yeah, there was a few GBA games I remember, especially once we got like the GBA SP 101, like on the brighter screen. Like, how did they do that with these little carts with a few of them?
Right. And
it's like Guilty Gear on the GBA. You're like, how did you do that? Like, magic.
Now, apropos to one of our later MCC entries coming up later this week. Of course, when this game released, it released on the very same day as Midnight Club 2. Needless to say, it got overshadowed big time. But if you had your hands on a GBA and you still wanted to jump in and drive like an absolute fool, you really couldn't go wrong with Crazy Taxi Catch a Ride. I mean, this is actually a semi-faithful recreation of the OG on Dreamcast.
I have one question though. A very important question.
Shoot.
But did they keep the offspring?
Yeah.
Was it implied offspring?
It was implied offspring.
On-spring?
Almost, but not quite.
Yeah.
It's like
legally distinct. It was legally distinct offspring.
Legally distinct offspring. We are the offshoots, sir.
Yeah. That's great. Beautiful.
Hey, let's try and play.
You gotta be crazy to play this game.
You gotta keep it separated.
All right. Thanks, Ace. All right, what we got here for the next one? All right, we're gonna go over to the 9th. Oh, this is fun. Well, this image speaks for itself.
Everybody disliked it.
Uh,
Oh,
something amazing happened this day, Oliver, that you'd like to share with us. It looks like.
Well, I actually wanted to take the time. I wanted to tag team this one with Nick because just in a couple of recent episodes, was within the last four episodes, he did a whole breakdown on what happened to Interplay, and it was on this day in oh Lord, what God, what was it? Was it 2006 or 2007? I've already lost the date. That Interplay sold all of the Fallout IP to Bethesda Softworks for just under $6 million. They gave up the whole damn thing. They gave the whole thing.
Had to be 05. That seems low.
Yeah, 07 seems low.
Yeah,
but it was just so, it was earth shaking for so many people, especially because there was still a Fallout 3 in development at that point in time, which, you know, most Fallout fans, you know, going all the way back to the first one, the real diehards know as Van Buren, where it kept the same isometric style gameplay, but they actually had models, 3D models and things like that, but it didn't get off the ground. And obviously the Fallout IP has been irrevocably changed forever. The thing that's up to I think the thing that I think is up for debate is whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Because this is one thing it's a completely split opinion that I always see out there. You either love new Fallouts or you hate them. I never hear no middling opinion like, yeah, they're okay. No, people get very, very tense about this shit, right? It's like,
I will freely admit to being part of that initial knee-jerk response. Absolutely. Not to take away from what Oliver is saying, but
no, absolutely. I mean, it surprised the fuck out of everybody, truly. Like, more than anything else, it surprised everyone, right? And then, you know, Bethesda already had some really good street cred at this point in time. You know, coming off of Morrowind and Oblivion having come out, and they're going, we are going to make sure that Fallout 3 happens. Everyone's very, very scared. Fallout 3 comes out in like 2008, right? The fall of 2008. I remember that quite clearly because I bought an entire whole ass new machine just for playing Fallout 3 because I had the year before sat down and finally gotten around to playing Fallout after having been told about it and played it on PC, and I didn't like playing PC that much. Boy, when that shit clicks though, oh man, it hit, right? And then Fallout 3 happened, I was like, okay, I'm not as committed, right? So that's why I've got that different feeling where I'm like, I just like that there's more Fallout, no matter what. Like, I like every Fallout game I've played. Every single one. I know. I love them. Even Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. See that one, you say that shit in a Fallout. Say that, jump into a Fallout forum and go, Brotherhood of Steel is great, and then run. Because they're going to be after you. Right?
Yeah.
But no, I just like Fallout. There's only one Fallout that I don't like, and this is the one that gets me in trouble. I'm like, no, New Vegas is shit. It's hot, stank-ass garbage when it launched. I haven't played it again recently, super recently, but...
The Game of the Year edition or the Platinum Hits edition that came later that had like all the fixes, like it literally added the canteen, that alone was worth it. Like having that in there. I know a lot of people that got back onto the New Vegas hype train after those versions came out, after the fixes. Like you said, it was a mess when it first came out, but it's finally remembered because of the changes they did to it, which is awesome.
Which means I need to come back and play it again.
Right? Well, I'll be, not to shift away from this. That same shit happened to me with Fable 2. I did not like Fable 2 when it launched. I did not. Huge fan of Fable 1. Did not like Fable 2 when it launched. I went back when they came out with I think that was the Platinum Hits version that had all the updates for it, and then I played it and then loved it. It was just something didn't click that first time around. I am with you. I loved Fallout 1 and 2. Like some of the most formative games of me growing up. I said that during the Interplay thing, which if we've got a VOD for that anywhere, definitely check it out. I'd love to share that with people. But this IP was sold because of all the financial issues Interplay was having. The devs wanted to keep Fallout, but they had to sell it when Bethesda dropped. I think it was like 6 million at the time
Yep.
just for the IP rights. Like crazy, just blew out anything that they could have done. I did not like Fallout 3 because I did not like Oblivion. I just didn't like the slow plotting gameplay, and I
Mhm.
instantly recognized it when I played Fallout 3 of this is just Oblivion with Fallout skinned over it. I took that as like a thing
You
where it's
took
just
that
like
shit
cool,
personally.
but yeah, I really did. And it kind of sucks to say that with the hindsight on it, that I took that bent with it, because I did play 4 a little bit. I still liked it. I know that the original like Fallout Interplay devs have come out and said they like the Bethesda versions. They actually thought Fallout 2 was more detrimental than 3 was to like the lore and everything. Whatever, like everyone can have those opinions. I remember that changeover to Fallout 3 and I just did not like it, and I pushed it out of my gameplay loop for a long time until later on.
There is such a. Oh, well, first, before I get into that, I did double check. No, the sale was in 2007. Those guys flipped Fallout 3 so fast, which is kind of impressive. No, the sale
That's why I
was
was saying it felt like Oblivion. Like they just took that engine and skin and bones and threw Fallout over it.
it's kind of wild. It's legit wild. So the other interesting, just kind of little side story on this is that being able to look at what they wanted to do with Fallout, what Bethesda wanted to do, and how it made people so angry. And I 100% understand how people feel in that regard, because Fallout 1 hits different, man, right? It's got this undertone. It's very black humor. It can be very dry in a good way, the good kind of dry, right? Like you feel the weight of everything that has happened. It is the blackest parody that is taking itself very seriously, right? And then Fallout 3 kind of just leans a little bit more over into the silly, right? And it's like that's not what OG Fallout fans are looking for, right? Yes, they want to deal with aliens out in the middle of the fucking desert, but the overall tone is very, very serious. And when I this is great that we brought up my journalism experience. When I was at E3, I actually got to talk to former Obsidian guys. I actually got to play Fallout New Vegas at E3 2010, and I got to ask them and get the real score. I was like, look, people are get very controversial over this, and I was getting the game demoed to me by Larry Liberty, and I asked him straight up. I was like, is this truly the direction you guys would have gone, regardless of what Bethesda or anything? He's like, yeah, I mean, eventually this is the direction that Fallout was going to go. Like, times change, tech changes, and we agree with their design choices, which shocked the fuck out of me, right? And thank God my wife was standing right next to me, because she was taking additional notes while I'm actually having this conversation. So it's always, I think that changeover is never going to be an agreed upon thing, like for anyone. Like people are going to hate it, and I think that people are completely justified in hating it, but there's also people who love the changes, and I think they're going to be completely justified in that too, right? But it's just it's a hot mess, and it really sucks still to watch a developer lose an IP that they built. We've got the Pip Boy, we've got the Vault Boy, excuse me, on screen right now. I've talked to that artist at that same E3 when he had moved over to working at Sony. Tramel Isaac. I've gotten to talk to him distinctly about Fallout, and he was like, it's kind of crazy that it became big and became this icon, where for him it was just another doodle, and it was just work, right? He was doing his job, but then it really blew up, and it's become more than just any generic icon. It's the icon. Like, I'm not going to call it the Mario, and I'm not going to call it the Mickey Mouse, but
Yeah.
anyone who's more than a casual gamer knows who the fuck the guy in the blue and yellow suit is.
Mhm.
Right? Like, he knows.
Especially
And
now with the TV show doing so well.
bingo, right? It's really really picked up steam on that. So it sucks that Interplay, once again, bit off more than they could chew, but like it is what it is, and this is yet another case of it sucks that those mistakes were made. right? But everyone learned something from it.
Okay, my follow-up question, and this is irrelevant, but who owns Blackthorn? Is it still Interplay?
Oh, I think we've
No,
talked about that.
that's Blizzard.
Yeah, that's Blizzard.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
Blizzard's.
Because I remember Interplay being associated with that as well.
I think they did the publishing on console, right? But because I was just looking at that, I was just completely coincidentally yesterday. I was like, let me look on the PlayStation Store, and they were like, look, here's some certified Blizzard hits, and fucking Lost Vikings was in that bitch. And I said yes, and Blackthorn was in that bundle. I was like, oh look, that game I haven't gotten around to playing yet. I think Rock and Roll Racing was in there too, right? But no, I was looking at that, so that's fine.
R&R Racing. All right. Popping over to the 10th of April. Back to me here with my choice. Back to you. One of the best and worst fighting games I've ever played. Let me explain. King of Fighters 12. Well, my history with King of Fighters has always been the Street Fighter alternative, right? Ever since King of Fighters 95 had showed up. If I wasn't playing Street Fighter 2 Turbo or any of the Super Street Fighters, I was playing King of Fighters number something. Right, my favorite was 98 because it was kind of like the all-star version of the King of Fighters. Like, it took the best of the rosters, took the best of the gameplays and system mechanics, right, and they shoved them all in one place. It was fantastic. Now, going fast forwarding to 2008 or so, my story with this is that I had picked this up. No, not this specifically, but I picked up King of Fighters 11 on the PlayStation 2. I actually got it specifically from my local friend Trung. Shout out to Trung. He sold it to me for like $20. It was awesome, right?
That's a steal,
right? And he wasn't playing it anymore. I really wanted to play it. This was upon my return to gaming. I had retired gaming for like a couple years to finish school, so I dusted off my PS2. One of the first games I played was, as you know it, Warriors Orochi, and also King of Fighters 11. Now I see in these magazines, like, King of Fighters 12 was coming out, and it's on the PlayStation 3, the shiny old PlayStation 3, and man, have you guys seen the graphics for this? Nick, I hope you have the video, because this is very impressive for a 2D fighting game, right? These are some really high quality pixel art, but they also tricked you. These are actually 3D models that they drew over. And this was like probably peak pixel art fighting game graphics, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the unfortunate thing is it played like doo-doo. So it was not it was not great. It did not feel like a King of Fighters fighting game. It felt like a whole different game, right? With King of Fighters characters. That's where I'll put it. Characters felt heavy, right? There's no speed behind their attacks, but man, this game basically started the kickoff for one of the best King of Fighters games out there, KOF 13, which, part of me says I think the future isn't 3D, but I think it's KOF 13 like style,
Yeah. I was gonna ask, just because I know that you and Ace have played a fair amount of them. Like, what is the best King of Fighters game? I know it's debated.
Yeah, subjective. Yeah,
it is very subjective, but I can tell you at the very least, the top 5. So, top 5 KOF games.
I thought you were just going to leave it there, dude. It's like, all right.
Like, usually in some order, top 5 KOF games: KOF 11, KOF 13, KOF 98. Let's see, KOF 95 and 96.
Which one's 96? Who was the bad guy?
Genitz was the bad guy.
That makes sense. Yeah, I would say that his list is close to mine. I would trade off a couple of them with 2000. I have a soft spot for Chrysalid myself, but I think the real boss is Ignis. That's like one of my favorite KOF bosses out there. They really did a good job of like extending that story and the build up to that game. But anyway, KOF 12, terrible. Go play KOF 13. This game had to fail for 13 to not succeed as much. right? So that's exactly what happened with that. Now they went back to 13 and they put rollback netcode in it with the Steam edition, I believe. And now it's like near perfect. Like if you want to play a KOF game that's modernized and that's not like 3D, KOF 13, guys, it's super inexpensive. If you can get it on sale, awesome. But that is the pure 2D experience for KOF 13. And if you want to go retro, and if you're confused to which one you want to play, I highly suggest King of Fighters 98 because it takes the best of all the King of Fighters during that era and puts them all in one game for you.
I remember like a little bit there when I was working at GameStop. When I started working there, a lot of people were, at least some of the hardcore players, were into like 2002, like the unlimited match one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As well. Like I think that one was like super technical from what I remember, but it's been
Yeah.
a long time.
Ace, was that the one with like they changed the tag mechanics? Like it was actually a tag mechanic versus like a round mechanic, right?
No, that would actually be KOF 2003 and then KOF 11.
Okay. Yeah, that's what, because here's the thing. Every KOF is somehow different. Even the characters that return, they have different move sets, right? Somebody might be good in 2012 and in 2013 they're not great. It's just that was one of the fun things about KOF. They were never consistent with the characters.
Yeah, 2002 had the max mode combo system. So
Yeah,
it's
that
just
sounds about right.
super flashy and technical, at least from what I'm reading here. Sweet.
Cool. Oh, that was my pick. All right, let's go with 411, the 411. Oh, this is a two-parter. I'm excited. All right.
Kind of
First one.
two-parter.
First one. Lundra. Let me grab my copy. Go ahead, Nick.
Don't put up the gameplay just yet because I'm going to put the second one. But look, I'm going to take this Memory Card Chronicle day to do a comparison because I couldn't quite choose. Sometimes when I'm making my choices, it's not always the thing that resonated the most with me back in the day, but just something that I feel is going to be something worth remembering or something worth discussing about this day in gaming history. So for this one, I couldn't decide which was more important for the class. I decided to do two. First up is Alundra. That one right there, one of the cover arts I remember. This one came out in 1997. It has that cult classic impact to it. Yeah, it was mostly seen as like a Zelda clone when it first came out. That was kind of the big knock people had against it when it came out. It had a super limited reach too. Not a lot of people knew about it back in the day. But fans of the pod will know we love working designs for their cover arts like the one James has there. Super shiny, super collectible. I loved getting those in the store every time we got them. So I remember picking up Alundra and giving it a shot. It was definitely fun to play. People do remember it nowadays because it was probably one of the best 2D games on the PlayStation 1, just because of the fact it had super mature storylines at the time where you didn't get that in a lot of games. It was just starting to become a little more of like an industry standard, at least in my opinion. It also had a lot of super tough puzzles that were overshined by just bigger titles back in the day. I mean, we're talking a 97 for this. What are some games that came around that time? Well, Final Fantasy 7. Right. So it's gonna be hard to like stack up against that, right? But yeah, it's something, like I said, something worth talking about, something worth comparison, because my comparison when I looked at these is we're looking at something that came out that's a cult classic. Let's jump to the other end of the spectrum now. Also came out in this day in gaming history, but this one in 2005, and this one was one that was just everywhere for a while, and that's Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. I remember like this is when racing games kind of had more of that kind of mass appeal, and having the dub, I think the marketing behind it too definitely helped. There's a lot of people watching it because you have to remember at the time, like tuning culture was huge, thanks to the like Fast and the Furious movies coming out and just kind of putting that spotlight on that culture. So this game comes out in 2005, and opposite of Alundra, just kind of like blows up. Huge mass market appeal, a huge car customization system that honestly is based around that tuning culture and still holds up to modern titles. There was a lot of customization in this game. I'll give it props for that. It may not have been something that I picked up on just because I didn't play a lot of Midnight Club. I was more like Project Gotham Racing at the time, less Midnight Club. But game recognizes game. This did define kind of open city racing for its generation. Like I said, Project Gotham was more kind of like that on rails kind of thing, where you had your very defined space for driving on these tracks. This was open city. It honestly felt like an early direct link to what festival racing could be in games, the games I kind of love today. I have not hidden how much I love Forza Horizon. This could easily be seen as like an early lead up to games like that, to Forza Horizon. So I put it to you, team. What's more important to cover today? The cult classic of something like Alundra that, given the benefit of time, we've seen how amazing it is. It just got swallowed up, or something that had just this big blow up thing that kind of really defined an entire genre for a little bit with Midnight Club.
I don't think that it defined an entire genre. I think it defined an era. Like, look, let's put it to you this way. Midnight Club is not allowed in my house because my wife is very fucking competitive. She likes racing way too much.
Oh, so
she gets real mean.
Revenge.
Oh no, she goes hard. She ain't playing. She plays for fucking blood, man. Like, no. You're not allowed to have racing games in the house. No. I can't even let her ass have Mario Kart. She locks the fuck in. So no, it's like here's the thing. You're 100% correct. Like, there was a hot block of time there where racing was everything. Right? Like, it just swallowed up the industry in this interesting way. Sure, other things were coming out. Of course they were. But once really, really nice fucking racing sims, like, no, it started. People were like, yo, I mean, honestly, it really started with Gran Turismo. And then once they really, like, when you remember when Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec came out on the PS2, there you go. Right? And once that, like, and it was like, oh, this is a thing. And then turn around, Microsoft counters with Forza, right? And I think those two things got us up to this point where it was like, oh no, we going, right?
Well, there was always that interplay between like arcade versus simulation as well, because there's always going to be people who preferred one or the other, and we've talked at length about Burnout and how amazing that was to our own gaming histories.
Yes,
but like I liked, if we're talking about simulation, I was more a fan of Forza. It's not that I didn't like Gran Turismo, it just Gran Turismo has always felt like an elevator ride for me. It just didn't make me excited to play it. I do appreciate that it spent so long improving its graphics and really giving you that simulation, like down to the nuts and bolts on these cars. But the moment I found out that the different brands, like the different car brands, would not allow damage on their cars in the Gran Turismo games, is when I checked out, because I'm like hitting walls and stuff, and it's not a simulation anymore for me. If it's not affecting my car when I screw up and ram it into a wall, I'm out. So that's kind of why I stuck with Forza. But again, over time, I started realizing more and more I wanted to have more fun with my games. That's why I shifted to games like Burnout and to Forza Horizon specifically. So that's why it was cool just to see this in gaming history, to look back and see Dub Edition and remember a time when it's like, dude, tuning culture was huge, and this was just fun to play, open city kind of racing. It's just, it was cool. But again, like I said, I still like highlighting things in the industry that happened. Like Alundra was just something that was swallowed up from a portal of time that it came out, but it wasn't a bad game at all. And it's something that I think for the time, especially with its like mature storytelling, like people go back and play those games and realize like, oh man, why didn't I hear about this back in the day? It was just so good.
Another cult classic made better with the benefit of hindsight.
Yeah, I bet you if they re-release Alundra now with some quality of life changes and post it as indie, people would love it because they just didn't know what it was, back in the day. So and then of course you'll hear, oh, it's a Zelda game. You'll hear that, a lot.
Well, appreciate you, chat. Appreciate you, panel. Do we have any last takeaways? Any final questions before we finish up this week in gaming history?
One last take.
I have one. Go ahead, Ace.
I was about to say, one last takeaway I have is that Oliver,
Yes,
show
ma'am.
them as his split second.
No. Serious. I ain't showing her shit. No. There's no Mario Kart. There's no Mario Kart DS. There's no Mario Kart World. Look, if I'd be like, hey, babe, we'll play Civilization Revolution, and the shadow falls over her face like she's looking into shit, right? It gets very personal. And now, granted, she's never won a fucking game of Civ against me. Because why? Because if you don't roll Greek, you get rolled. But she comes with intensity.
That's a shirt
where,
right there.
like, I'm just saying, I would love to have her and my son sit down and play Mario Kart together. I think it would be so sweet. But what I think would actually happen is that she would take this motherfucker and just shove him out of his chair to get the win. That's what she had to do. Just like, boom. Like, oh,
That's-
you're gonna have to deal with that.
That's a
She
history raised in a
sideswiped him.
household where people will knock the controller out of your hand. That's
Yeah.
siblings right there.
Yeah, like some real boom. Oh, yeah, see, you gotta watch out. Get up, punk. Get blue shell. I'm like, yo, he's 5.
And now I'm picturing Clark getting back at her with a couple of brake checks.
I sure would fucking tell him to too. I'd be like, look, come here. I'm gonna train you, right? I'm like, come here, come here, Padawan. Let me show you how to do that shit, right? Maybe it needs to happen. Maybe he needs to get his ego checked a little bit so I can build him up into a fucking just a goddamn juggernaut. He'd be like, you know, but it sounds weird when you say it. He'd be like, I could beat my mom, so I can take anything. That doesn't sound right, so, right? You gotta have the context. No. We keep racing out of this fucking house.
Fair enough.
We do. She's mean.
Yeah, Ace, I was just saying, Ace, that Split Second needs a second chance, you know, because that game is underrated and massively underrated, and it's locked behind the Disney powerhouse. So hopefully it comes out, hopefully it gets freed, and we get a sequel, because, you know, I would love another Split Second.
Put that image. I saw Jagos do. It's the first thing I thought about. It's just as he was saying that.
That's exactly what it's like. No, she mad at Nintendo over F-Zero. She don't talk about no other fucking video game, but you mentioned F-Zero, and you know that how that dog's ears they flip straight up, right? It's like that. You just go like, hey, you want to talk about F-Zero? She's like, I'm like, whoa, slow down. Like,
no, we don't.
No, we don't talk about F-Zero.
Do not speak the old
F-Zero.
text to me. I was there.
I want to talk about F-Zero.
I want to talk about it.
She's really committed. That's her one thing. And so I'm like, oh no, I gotta take this away. I gotta lock it up behind the child-proof locks because she can't get past those. Right? She's very tiny. So her fingers, the little hands.
You might not be here next week.
Like, where's Oliver at?
I think he's fucking dead, man.
Maybe we'll check.
Flew too close to the sun.
A little too much talking.
All right, guys. Well, that was this week in gaming history.
Man,
it was a time.
It was a time.
It was a time. It's always been a time. So, leading into our next segment is
popping into our next segment really quickly. Before we do, though, I gotta take a couple of seconds. I gotta give the class a chance to get some water while we talk, of course, about visuals, image, style, right? So, come on, step into the seat. Level up your mindset a little bit. Because you see, here's the thing. Of course, as we've been building, as we've been growing, of course, we've been doing what we can to, give the community more ways to interact with us, not just through the forums, not just through the shows, but also how they represent the community, how they represent the mindset in their day-to-day. Now, this isn't just a setup, all right? It's a destination. When you pick up Gamer Quotient merch, like the mouse pads, like the hats, like anything that we'll be putting out in the store, you're going to be helping us rep the brand that turns gamers into thinkers and players into strategists. Whether or not you're grinding ranked, building your dream setup, or just leveling up in life itself, Gamer Quotient merch is built for those who take the game seriously. We've got clean designs. This is designed with gamer-first energy. And, the big thing behind this is, showcasing in our own little ways through fashion how mindset meets mastery. So, with that being said, I'll just end it with this. You've seen the Academy? Now take it with you where you go. Wear it on your sleeve. And remember...
I'd like to point something out.
Go ahead.
That poster you made is fucking amazing. I'm like, you did that?
It's pretty cool, huh?
Right, like I'm like, oh, look at that, Akira. Like we're all gonna die. but no, I looked at it, I'm like, no, it's really well composed. I'm really proud of you. Look at that. It's got nice symmetry.
I'm so proud of you.
All the elements are placed there. I'm proud of you. That's a really well composed piece of art that references. It's a clear reference to anyone in the know, right? And it's real clean. That's nice. It's got nice vibrancy. All that shit. This has been the best merch read ever. 'Cause I want to fucking buy it. I work here. I'm like, damn, where can I get that shit?
That's an endorsement right there.
Right.
Yeah, from the guy that's
I'm here.
dead. He's
right,
under
I won't
no
get it in
duress
time
right
because
now
I'm
to
going
say
to be
that,
killed
by the
next
way.
week. In like 3 hours. No, but it's really, really nice and well composed.
Just
If
heard
we're
in the
not
background
selling
cracking
that,
knuckles.
if we're not selling that right now, we need to be. Right now, right away. Like, as fast as possible. Everybody in the audience, isn't that fucking cool?
Honestly, once I get my hands on some spare change, my plan is to get that and get it framed.
Yeah, it's clean.
It's good stuff, flat out. But that said, ask yourselves the age-old question: what's your gamer quotient? If you want to answer that, grab your gear, grab the poster, grab the caps, anything you want from gamerquotient-shop.fourthwall.com. Hit the link, take a look. Who knows? You might walk away with something cool.
I was trying to look at that icon. All right, awesome, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. That being said, though, Nick, look, we haven't had you on in weeks. Frankly, we missed you around here, so we're going to be kicking it back over to you.
Well, too bad.
Boom. He disappears.
Poof.
Really excited.
Ninja vanish.
Deuces.
Yeah, I've been watching a little too much TMNT lately. You'll Foot
All
Clan
right.
on you.
All right,
Yeah,
guys. You haven't seen this screen in a hot minute, but yeah, let's get on with some quick bites with Nick here. Gotcha.
If you're trying to play the song, none of the sound bites are coming through.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? You
Yep.
guys can hear that?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Didn't happen in the other segment either, but I was just going to roll with it. No big deal, because everything is broken in the Headmaster's chair tonight. Quick Bites and Rumor Mill is the Gaming Academy's rapid-fire roundup of the biggest stories, updates, and whispers in the gaming world from this last week, because an informed gamer can actually understand what is happening in the industry around us. I haven't been here for 2 weeks. It's been tough. We had the study hall last week, which was great. The week before, I had some real life crop in, and I couldn't make it, which I guess in the end is kind of good, because let's be honest, the last couple weeks have not been great. That week that I couldn't make it, I filled out most of my Quick Bites section of the news. Hey, there we go. Quick. Boop.
Yeah.
Put a quarter in.
And completely derailed me. But a lot of sad stuff. Like I said, the last few weeks have really just been daggers into the industry's hearts with layoffs everywhere. So I'm glad that I didn't have to share any depressing news with everyone during those couple weeks the entire time. That would have been bad. However, we do have to take a moment to cover some sad news tonight, and that's Yoshihisa Kishimoto, the creator of Kunio-kun and Double Dragon series, has passed away at the age of 64. He started his career at Data East before moving to Technos Japan. Games like Cobra Command, Road Blaster, Renegade, and Double Dragon really laid the foundation for the beat-em-ups that came after. I know that those titles and the ones that inspired are staple for a few of my friends here on the pod, as well as the class here in chat. So F's in chat for another legend that left us recently. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is certainly splitting fans and critics, but you can't deny that it's selling. After a 5-day domestic total, the movie scored the biggest opening weekend of the year so far, earning $190 million in those 5 days. Crazy. Slay the Spire 2, which debuted last month in early access, has also crossed a sales mark, this one reportedly selling 5 million copies. Great news, State of Decay 3 fans. We have something for you this week. Undead Labs has announced that fans can sign up for the alpha playtest right now. The test will have 4-player co-op, some new base building and resource strategies, and combat in it. You can go do that at playtest.stateofdecay.com. I know that, Oliver, we talked a little bit about it. I think you were a fan of State of Decay, if I remember right.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
had a chance to work with some of the devs on it when I was at Microsoft. It's cool that it's finally coming out. Interestingly enough, the news on this broke that the game was revealed before anyone was even working on it. Philip Holt, Undead Labs leader, admitted in an interview with Sunny Games that when that first trailer dropped for State of Decay 3, the game was literally just a Word document at the time. That
What?
blurred trailer was all pre-rendered and was actually more of a concept the team had. Holt admitted that things like zombie animals won't even be available in the final product. Kind of crazy, but now we know why it's been so long since State of Decay 2 and the silence that came after 3's announcement. So, yeah, kind of dropped that on everyone.
They found out at the same time we did.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, we're doing this? Great. First announced in 2021 at the TGA's, I, for one, have been super excited for Star Wars Eclipse. It's been basically radio silence since then, though, and the latest episode from Insider Gaming Weekly has said that its sources are mentioning that development has been, quote, very slow going. Apparently, there has been very little progress over months, even with a good portion of the game having been completed already. One source also said that, quote, this game at this stage is still looking to be years from completion. So signs point to financial viability more than creative ability. According, again, to Insider Gaming, both NetEase and Quantic Dream are reportedly really relying on Spellcasters Chronicles, which entered early access in February. They're relying on that to bring in revenue to then spend on Eclipse. So it sounds like it's out of the devs' hands, which sucks because that trailer was awesome. I loved that when that came out. I've been kind of waiting to hear anything, so not the greatest news. Electronic Gaming Development Company, or EGDC, has just increased its ownership stake in Capcom by more than 1%. The Saudi-based investments firm now has an investment in Capcom worth over $617 million and is now representing just over 6% of ownership. For fans of Mass Effect like me, we're hungry for new content, I'll be honest. But the upcoming live-action TV show kind of splits the crowd for good reason. As a report from theankler.com shed light on how Amazon MGM's head of global TV, Peter Friedlander, is approaching the show, which has been floating around for a while now in kind of the ether. Last year, if you don't remember, Mike Gamble, who is Mass Effect's project director over at BioWare right now, explained that the TV show will be an original story set after the trilogy. Obviously, with something like Mass Effect, if you've played it, James, I know you did this last year, there's a ton of lore and history kind of built into that game's universe. So, long story short, Friedlander is now explaining that while reading through scripts, the show is looking like it will be written in a way that holds non-gamers in mind to make sure it remains as accessible as possible. So, what do we think, class? Accessible kind of gives us a knee-jerk reaction, but Mass Effect is dense, and that could really mean a lot of things by saying they're trying to make it more accessible. What's your take on it?
I honestly cannot get past my initial knee-jerk reaction when they talk about it being more accessible and talking about talking about it focusing more on appealing to non-gamers. I don't know. I cannot. I, in good conscience, cannot get myself past that initial reaction because usually when a higher up, usually when someone near the top of the corporate food chain says, "Let's try to make this appeal to the mass market," it dilutes the source material and just tends to make it a lot more bland and chase two rabbits, catch none.
Oliver, what were you going to say?
I was going to say damn near exactly what Ace is saying. Like, there's, as a writer, I have to say that language matters in a huge way, and words have meaning. And when we take certain words and corrupt those words in a huge way, it can have devastating impacts on people's behavior in response to those key words. This is going to sound kind of stupid, but just follow along with me for a second. I've written books. I've published 2 books, and Metal Gear Solid 5 is one of my favorite games I've ever played in my life. And everyone kind of got lost in the vocal cord parasites thing, missing the point of what Kojima was talking about. With he was trying to effectively destroy the English language. He wanted to kill the bridge language, the language that is used to translate across completely incompatible languages. And it's because when we mess with words, we mess with ideas, right? If you tell someone that they can't speak a word, that means that they can't express an idea, right? And if you can't express that idea dies, right? So ideas and words are intimately connected together. That said, when I think about accessibility, I'm thinking about the story I told about my mom using Tetris and Dr. Mario as part of her stroke recovery and getting her cognitive faculties back, and having a game genie that allowed certain functionality that was not present in those games to now be there, right? But that's not the way people are using the word accessibility today. See, like my father-in-law, rest in peace, was red-green colorblind. So whenever I would see games that had colorblind options, that was a thing that affected my life, right? And it was like, well, whether or not he can play this game, right? Or when I see Sony and Xbox, when they put out those actual accessibility controllers, those modular controllers, that's accessibility to me, right? Not dumbing a game down to where the point of the game is lost, right? That's not accessibility. That's catering to a new audience. And don't use that word. Don't use the word accessibility, right? Like you're doing a favor for someone who's literally lacks the means and the ability to engage with your product. Those are 2 different damn things. And it's just I take, you know what, I took that personally back up. Put that shit back up, because that's how it feels. I do take it personally when people are like, oh, make Souls games accessible. No, fuck you, learn how to play the game. Oh, but it's hard. Yes, that's the point. It's designed to be hard. The specific design of the Souls games is to teach you to do something different, right? Look before you leap. The consequences will be higher, right? We're not going to throw random crap at you. They don't do that. It's the same thing every time. Every Souls game is about, are you paying attention, right? Are you noticing patterns that are reoccurring in the environment and know how to take the correct steps? And to get past those hardships is the point of the game. When you just go, oh, we just have to cater to everybody. Look, all I'm saying is, over the past 10 years, every time someone says though that same structure of sentence, that's a guaranteed fucking bomb. Like, it's just, keep saying what you're saying, and you're gonna have another Concord on your hands. Don't do it just to be like,
So-
we would like people to play.
So, as I said, accessible makes us knee jerk. Clearly, it still holds true.
Right? Like, whew.
I, having done some work in accessibility as well, that's one of the main things we did when I was contracted through Microsoft, was a lot of the focus on accessibility, not just, bringing in tools like the accessibility controllers that you saw, but the accessibility systems that you see. Like, you specifically, I remember I had to look for PlayStation gamers that were red-green colorblind who played very specific kinds of games to review a game, not just to say whether it's good or not, but according to them, but
Whether
also
it's
that it's
functional.
approachable, that it can be seen, that it functions. What this is about is just more so, they're trying to make sure that this content in this show is approachable by a wider audience, which, if you look at the dollars and cents side of things, I absolutely understand that. And like I mentioned, Mass Effect is dense. It's huge. I remember the very first game. I don't know, James, when you played it, if you even went through the codex. I did the first time I played. There's a lot of reading there.
There's
A
a
lot. So I understand trying to create a piece of media that is going to be more approachable to a wider audience, trying to get more eyes on it. The biggest thing for me when I look at that is this going to be Netflix's One Piece, or is it going to be Netflix's Cowboy Bebop? Because those are two
Ooh.
very different ways
That
that
is
those
a-
things rolled out, right?
He
And
says hurtful
success.
things.
Yeah.
If you are setting a rubric, if you are setting a scale by which this is going to be measured, that is a perfect setup.
Right.
Is it Bebop or is it One Piece?
Right. And that's the thing is like what they take out of the story to make it more approachable is really going to be the big tell. It's way too early to decide this is a DOA. It's really not yet. I'll wait and see. But it still has me a little concerned where I'm just okay, well, the fans that are going to turn out to watch this are now finding out like, hey, the things you really loved about it, all the stuff you learned about it, it's just going to be very surface level kind of as you get into it, especially if this is supposed to be a side story set in the same universe. Like, are they going to not talk about all the races? They're going to not talk about the Citadel? Like, what are we going to lose? Anyway, that was discussion for that. I appreciate your input on it. Just to move on with the news, because we got a little bit more to talk about. Halo Infinite's art director and series vet Glenn Israel has taken to LinkedIn recently, posting his experience after working on the title and accusing senior staff at Halo Studios of multiple unlawful acts. He says that between January 2024 and June 2025, he witnessed several unethical or unlawful acts by senior staffers. He also goes on to detail his experience filing complaints with Microsoft's HR, which resulted in threats of retaliation and promises of quashed investigations. The acts include blacklisting, fraud, rampant favoritism or cronyism, like with hiring or career growth interference, multiple harassment campaigns designed to provoke constructive discharge of unwanted employees. Multiple other staffers actually did reply to those posts, voicing support and sharing similar behavior witnessed during their time with the company. It's pretty wild to hear it's pretty wild to actually hear some of these details. So if you actually are interested, a lot of articles are talking about this right now. A lot of content creators are, and you can actually hit his LinkedIn profile directly. But pretty crazy things coming out of Halo Studios right now, and by extension 343 when people were working for it. Take-Two is also shaking things up. This time, though, they've laid off Luke Dicken, the head of AI at the company. The parent company of GTA 6 dev Rockstar has reportedly made a major shakeup in their AI department as a whole. It isn't clear the reason why this is happening, but at least points to Take-Two starting to scale down their development in that area. So a little bit less AI coming out of Take-Two for whatever reason. It's just notable because this is like head of AI. It's pretty big and it was pretty public. If you've been wondering about Dead by Daylight 2 and if that sequel would ever see the light of day, then wonder no more, my friends. Behavior Interactive's head of partnerships, Matthew Cote, and creative director Dave Richard did speak about a potential sequel at last month's GDC, but the company has confirmed that Dead by Daylight 2 is not happening. The game may be 10 years old, but Behavior believes they can continue to build on what they have and keep the game fresh for everyone that has invested time into it already. So just staying the course. The co-founder of Raven Software, Brian Raffel, announced his retirement just a couple days ago. He was with the company for 36 years after founding the company with his brother in 1990. During his time there, the team shipped 42 titles, 12 original IPs, and worked on 18 Call of Duty games. He was known for his work on games like Hexen, Star Wars Jedi Academy, one of my personal favorites I've gushed about multiple times on this channel. X-Men Legends, Wolfenstein, and many more. So best of luck to Brian. Sony Interactive Entertainment has acquired Cinemersive Labs, a UK-based company that specializes in machine learning and computer vision. Sony announced this in a blog post and says that the goal is to integrate Cinemersive into their visual computing group in order to enhance gameplay visuals, improve rendering techniques, and more. So, another company coming under the umbrella that is Sony nowadays. Not sure if you have heard, guys, but Xbox Fan Fest is back. That's pretty fun. Just in time for Xbox's 25th anniversary. A blog post on Xbox Wire detailed the plan, which will bring a tour through so far 8 cities in 2026, with each spot being unique to the city. The focus will be on the local Xbox community and the way people engage with gaming. Locations revealed so far include LA, Cologne, London, Mexico City, Seattle, Sydney, Tokyo, and Toronto, with more locations that are supposedly going to be revealed soon. The last time they did this was at Gamescom 2025, which had things like Ninja Gaiden 4 battles on a big screen with prize winnings. There was a Fallout 76 fishing zone. There was a fingerboard skate track as well that you can actually play around on, which was pretty funny. They had exclusive swag and that kind of thing. So if you're in one of those cities or nearby, it sounds like there's gonna be some fun stuff coming through from Xbox. So if you're a fan, I know that those fan events are pretty fun. If you weren't aware, The Last of Us had an online project which was known as Factions that was canceled in 2023. Well, during an interview, Last of Us Online director Vineet Agarwal, which apologies if I pronounced that wrong, shared some details on the development and cancellation. Like a lot of developers, COVID's online gaming boom caused a lot of companies to go all in on online gaming, which is how this title got its funding. While the game got almost 80% completion before return to office pushes happened and online gaming dropped, it led to the game actually being canceled in favor of the other title the studio was working on, which was helmed by Neil Druckmann. It was axed by Sony actually 24 hours before it was going to be announced to the public. So that news just dropped. So we were about to hear about this and it was just axed. Like the developer said, it was absolutely devastating to that crew that spent upwards of 7 years working on that title. For the last quick bites, we have a quick door closing, door opening kind of situation. Frost Giant Studios is shutting down their RTS Stormgate with it going offline at the end of April after their multiplayer service provider was bought out and was pivoted to LLM development. Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, developed by Unfrozen, will actually launch into early access on April 30th. This one was announced 2 years ago, and it's been more than 10 years since the last Heroes game. Really cool. We're going to get one of those again. It's actually set as a prequel to the events of the original 1995 title. So, some old school fans of Might and Magic.
Pretty cool.
Rumor mill time, guys. Just a couple quick ones. Again, grain of salt, just little fun things we can talk about. Maybe talk about, some discussion points, maybe later on in the Discord. This first rumor is based around Crystal Dynamics, who actually saw a recent round of layoffs. That was going to be one of the sad news points from last week. Coming from Society of Raiders on X, who had stated that the remake of the original Tomb Raider would be at the recent TGAs, and that was confirmed. They're now saying that the Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis game is rumored to be delayed to February 2027. They clarified that they can't share the source for obvious reasons, so this is certainly still rumor territory, but that's just kind of sad news to hear that not only are they losing developers, but now projects are getting pushed and pushed, if we see them at all. On a recent post via NeoGAF, tech insider Kepler L2 has claimed that Valve could release the Steam Deck 2 in 2028, barring delays from the memory shortage we all kind of find ourselves in right now. Their comments also explain that the Steam Deck 2 is not built on a, quote, semi-custom SoC, like the PS6 and Xbox's upcoming Project Helix, meaning that manufacturers could actually upgrade it as time goes on, and that could mean it could end up with better specs if things do end up getting delayed. So it's kind of an interesting point if that ends up being true. Last little bit for Rumor Mill this week. On the last episode of the Kit and Krista podcast, a former Nintendo executive who was only ID'd as Sean discussed the company's recent hardware and software pricing. For example, if you didn't know, Nintendo talked about a shift to start with a lower digital MSRP on first-party titles compared to physical games. So I know that we had talked a little bit about that on Discord, but physical games are going to be more expensive than digital first-party moving forward. I think that starts May of this year, if I remember right. What he also predicted, though, and why this is in a rumor mill section, is that the shift in software pricing is likely a way to make hardware price increases coming down the line easier to swallow. Unfortunately, this could just be mitigation that leads to price increases on those consoles. I mean, we just saw PlayStation jack up prices on their consoles as well. Well, it could be a thing that you can expect that with the Switch as well soon. So if you're looking to get one, you might want to get one sooner rather than later. That's what I got for this week, guys. Thanks for your chat.
It's never good news. It's just not as bad news.
Yeah, not as bad, quote unquote.
Yeah. Ooh-wee.
I can summarize the quick bites for today, and it basically comes down to the last few weeks have really fucking sucked. Back to you, Nick. It's just been god awful. Just the worst shit. that could happen, did happen. Like, we're not even sure we're going to still be on the air after this. Like, what? There's not going to be an industry. It's all just falling apart.
There's
It's
not
just
gonna
fucked. The souffle did not rise. Okay, everything's awful.
Yeah, what this could be summed up as is what I just shared.
Yeah, it's just fucked. It all just went to dog fuck.
Yep. Looks about right.
But the really good thing is that what he was just talking about with the hardware, and especially with everything that Valve is trying to do, and then what Nintendo is trying to do, that's actually going to lead into my Watchdog bit here, and a little bit of discussion too, right? Because we're going to talk about some hardware and some interesting things I've discovered along the way.
Set and Spike, man, you're up.
There you go.
Oh,
just slap the shit out of it. Speaking of, I love Super Spike Wii-Ball on the NES. We gotta bring that back. Let's see. So, hey, this is my part of the show, the Watchdog, where I go out and find you nice, fun, cheap games to play so we can all be poor together. Right? I don't know why that's so funny. We can be poor together. Instead of being poor apart, we can just bring all of our poorness.
Yeah, man, I'm not alone.
Don't spend together.
So sometimes we run thin at the margins, and putting gas in your tank or making sure that everyone gets to eat this week takes priority. We have to make the responsible choice to be adults and take care of business first, and have fun afterwards when we can afford to do so. So
I thought
when
my section was depressing.
See, I told you. You'd be like, damn, you'd be like, because it's real. You'd be like, yeah, no, I got $5 to put in the tank.
I play games to get away from it. Also, we're poor as fuck.
That
We're
was
poor as
literally
fuck.
me earlier today.
So don't worry, I'm gonna bring us all up. I'm gonna lift the boat, right? We're gonna rise the fucking tide. The rest of the boats are gonna come up. Just you'll love it. Here we go. So we do what we got to do, right? We be adults, and then we have fun, right? But when cash is tight, and you still need to have that fun because you deserve to have fun. I try to find games for you that are great value for the money that you spend. So this week, here's the games that I found on sale. Now, normally I try to keep these games under $9.99, but there's a couple of exceptions in here that I wanted to take the time to put in here. So for the Xbox Series, A Way Out, that great co-op game from Joseph Fares, it's $2.99, $3, bam. Just like that. No, it's an absolute must play. Loved it when I played it. Platted it. Absolutely stellar. And in addition, Red Dead Redemption 2 is down to $15. Rockstar doesn't like putting those games out on sale. They don't do that. But yeah, you can snatch that up for $15 right now on Xbox and on the PlayStation. So I don't know whatever's going on, but it's great. Right, so grab that. And I hate Red Dead Redemption 1. Couldn't stand it. I consider Red Dead 2 to be one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life. It's amazing, right? In addition, on the PS4 and PS5, we got some real bangers here. So first, we're going to laugh at Todd Howard because it's Skyrim again. But you can get Skyrim Special Edition for $10. Love to fucking see it. The choice pick for this week is the Arkham Collection on PS4. It's Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight all together, $6.
$2 a
That's
game?
$2 a damn game.
Hold on.
Like, what? Yes.
Just typing in his credit card information.
I had to
Right.
take a breath from my inhaler on that one.
He's like, oh my God. I'll get my inhaler and do it for you if you need the empathy, you need someone else suffocating on such a good deal, I'll be there with you.
That's pretty
Right
good.
now, $2 a game. Just like that. I'm like, no, that's an incredible deal. Here's a classic that I've never gotten to play, but every time, anytime it gets brought up, everyone that's played it says it's one of the best things they've ever played. For PC on Steam, Star Wars Republic Commando, it's $10. Boom. Just like that.
That's a game that needs a revisit, I feel like, as well.
See, nobody hates on that game. They're like, that's the
To
one.
be fair, I wonder if that's something like one of these nights we should play. It is like a retrospective kind of thing, because I don't know if it still holds up. I know for a while they were just like, oh, we love this game. We went back and played it. It's like, it's better than we thought it was. But games have come a long way in the last little bit. I'm wondering. Anyway, not to take it away. Now it's just popped
No,
into my
no.
head. I'm like, man, I need to pay Republic Commando
Like,
again.
see that you made the point. I'm like, somebody else, every time it's mentioned, it's almost like Vampire the Masquerade. Anytime someone brings up Bloodlines, nope, someone reinstalls it and plays it. They're like, oh yeah, that game fucking rules, right? Also, we have my personal favorite Bioshock game, because I can't stand Bioshock Infinite, or I can't stand Bioshock 1 or 2. I love Bioshock Infinite. No, it just made it clicked for me. It made Bioshock work. I fucking loved it. It's $7.50 on Steam. Like I play it multiple times. I've played it multiple times over the years. Like I basically go back and revisit it every 2 years or so. So I can't endorse it enough. And then for both Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, their own unique versions. I only have one game, but it's Subnautica. I've never played Subnautica, but I know everyone that plays Subnautica has really good things to say about Subnautica, and that's down to a weird number of $9.89. It's like, you know what? Just pick a fucking direction, right? Either it's $8.99 or it's $9.99. Stop playing with me emotionally. I gotta go out and count 89 cents. What's wrong with y'all? But that's the score. Now, what I really wanted to talk about, while we have the time to do it, we're going to talk about some hardware. And in the past 30 days, Apple kind of pulled a lateral move that I didn't expect. And I think it's caught just general computing off guard. They came out with the MacBook Neo, which is a new entry level MacBook. Most people who have done any kind of dicking around with anything related to Apple know that their products are expensive. Just period. They just are. You're like, I want a MacBook Air. Well, you about to drop $1,000 on that shit, right? This is not $1,000. The MacBook Neo starts at $600, and it can be upgraded to for the $600. It starts at 256 gigabytes of storage, and it can be upgraded to 512 for $700. The reason I wanted to bring that up, especially within the context of our show, is because I have my wife's right here, and this might be one of the most affordable ways to game that I can see on the market right now, which really has thrown me for a hook. Let me tell you why. Because it's full aluminum. They didn't cut any corners on this hardware whatsoever. It's running an iPhone chip. It sips power. I think it pulls like 4 watts at peak. Like it's like, wait, what are you doing? What do you mean you're gaming on it? I'm playing Death Stranding Director's Cut on this thing. Ultra settings, 144 frames a second. That's the kind of performance I'm pulling out of this thing. It's like, what? In fact, I have right here a nice little list of some of the things that I've run on here that are definitely not native, because you're going like, oh, well, it's probably native. No. I'm running a program on it called Crossover, which is not unlike Wine, right? Wine is not a Windows emulator, right? But here's some of the games that I've installed and successfully run on this hardware that are not lightweight games. Sims 2. Granted, it's old, but there's a lot of expansions for the Sims 2. I've run Sims 2, Sims 3. My wife has been playing EverQuest 2 on it for like a week. like at really high settings, right? Dead Rising 3 runs quite well. It runs better than playing it on a fucking Xbox, which is, I don't even know how to feel about that. I'm getting higher frame rate on the fucking MacBook on an iPhone chip than playing it. If I could literally turn on the Xbox right now, boot up Dead Rising 3, I get higher frame rates. I get 50 frames a second emulating Dead Rising 3 on a damn iPhone chip compared to an Xbox Series X. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I sat down with my son today and I showed him Jet Set Radio. It's flawless. Like, it was just straight through Steam. Like, nope, no problems. It was like, yep, none of these are Mac clients either. Like, just to reiterate, Skyrim, like, nope, just straight up Skyrim, same thing, super duper, everything like defaults to ultra settings. It was like, yep, no problem. Bionic Commando, which Ace was talking about, yep, I'm running Bionic Commando 2009, which is notoriously difficult to run on modern Windows, and this didn't have a problem doing so. So looking at this, no, most people are going to tell you don't game on a Mac. Like, you're not. That's not a place you go play games, right? It's just not the place, not the hardware that you go to play games. You know, you go to Linux, or you go to Windows, right? Or you get yourself a console, right? You might play some stuff on your phone, but Mac, people kind of like, like, sure, you can game, but can you really game? Well, I just read off a list of games that were really, really real games, right? And that's just a week of messing around and experimenting. And at $600 in this economy, right? This is it's staggering performance. And just from doing some research on numbers, before anyone asked the amount of RAM in here, it's only 8 gig. And I have not seen it stop, stutter, lock up, freeze, anything on 8 gig of RAM. This thing is putting up numbers. This is like the little engine that could. This is the little Mac of laptops. Like, because she has a proper gaming laptop, and it is a big old bitch. It's like, y'all remember Butterbean? Like, this thing is the fucking Butterbean of laptops. Like, there's more laptop than there is of her at this point, right? I'm like, where is my wife? And all I see is 2 little feet sticking out from behind this gigantic fucking screen. And then I just, I go, hey, I think this might be a good idea. Hand her this thin and svet 13-inch, tiny little, cause she's like, oh, that's nice. She's like, oh,
God,
that's nice.
That
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it will.
Just petting it is like 13 inches.
Let me just hand her these 13 inches. And she's like, oh, that's smooth.
Yeah, my wife loves it. Now I love it too.
She loves it. Like, oh, talk about my penis.
Oh, God.
No, so it's it's really, really interesting. Even the charging, we're used to gaming laptops, big old power brick. No, you can run this on a standard 20-watt charger, running things at full screen, settings turned up. Like, it's a weird ass anomaly. Let me give you perspective on how power efficient this fucking thing is, okay? And then we'll get into the back and forth and ask questions and try and pick this anomaly apart. This shit is so power efficient, and the charging is so good that, just as a goof to see if it would work, I plugged it into the front side USB of the fucking PS5, and it caught a whole ass charge while playing with it. I had the PS5 on and I had the thing here, and I was like, no, that couldn't possibly work. It can't possibly deliver enough power. Nope. I watched that shit go up by 5%. I was just sitting here cooking my nuts, and I was like, this is cool. I live in the future. It was just absurd. So this thing, no matter how you may feel about Apple, right now, here's what's true. This is a whole computer operating system play area, because of course, let's not forget to factor in things like Xbox and cloud gaming and all that you could do from here as well if you wanted to. But I ran all these things locally. But we all know this. Just buying a decent video card today is going to cost you as much as this does, right? And let's not get into the RAM that you would have to buy for a standard PC. Between a video card and RAM, you're at $1,000. You haven't even put them inside of a machine yet. Just, you're like, I need a video card RAM. They're like, that'll be $1,000, please. So I look at this and I'm going, something is happening here. And I'm seeing everyone else talk about, this is some of the best value computing you can get. And I want to hear what you got about this nonsense machine. This is some eldritch bullshit that has happened in my house, and I'm intrigued, right? Like,
It's the Street Fighter Alpha 2 of gaming laptops.
Yes, right? It has no business running on the Super Nintendo yet. Here it is, and it's perfect. Like, we love it. It's so weird. I'm gonna keep putting it through its paces, but right now I cannot, in good conscience, if someone's like, I want a machine that's just gonna play some older stuff. I don't like really need to play anything current. Things are expensive. I'm gonna tell them to buy that because it works. It runs. Like, you don't need any kind of technical knowledge. Like, no, it was like, hey, download this program. Oh, okay. And now you're going to just install Steam inside of this program, which it thinks is a Windows environment. I'm like, oh, okay. Right. And then I boot Steam, and everything that's on there that wouldn't normally run on a Mac on Steam now is just like that. I'm like, huh, what do we fucking do with this? Right. And I know there's a new version coming. Of the next version is going to have 12 gigabyte of RAM, but Apple has something here, and this may be the secret weapon of the whole computer problem. Steam has to do better than this with the new Steam machine, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Honestly, considering what you put up today and what I've seen on your streams when you started working with that, and again the fact that the missus has been playing EverQuest 2 on ultra settings basically for the past week without a hitch, it's like that right there is a proof positive showcase of value proposition coming from Apple.
You know, important detail. EverQuest 2 has never had a Mac client. Not once. Not ever. Right? And it is a notoriously difficult game to run. Even to this day, if you try to put it at max settings, it goes, yo, most machines can't do this. Right? Like, very few people, like, you get a big ass warning not to do that. And this shit said, and just shrugged it off. It was like, whatever. And I was like, can it do that? And it was like, yeah, I just did it. Right? Like, no. Even my proper PC is like, it pulls out the inhaler. It's like, okay, let's go. Okay. But no, that's how strongly it's performing on a game that is, EverQuest 2 is the crisis of MMOs when it comes to performance. Like, how hard can you run this bad boy? Right? Just to really give you an idea of how it was it's keeping up like a champ.
I love it and hate it, and here's the reason why. I love it, the fact that you have options, right? A game where you can game. I think I hate it because, like, I've always thought it's PC to be the more expensive version of gaming. I've always thought PC to be the most optimal way, but the least convenient way to game, right? Specifically gaming, right? And I feel like it's, man, with these price increases on consoles, it's like swapping, right? And if you're saying you can run this better than console games, and it's like it's not like clunky, it's not hard, and it's like convenient, you could take it anywhere with you. Like, I hate the fact that I'm like, I'm standing for PC now, when I was a console kid this whole time, right?
Yep.
And that's why I hate it. I love it that there's another option. So I'm like,
right.
So I love that. That's my 2 cents on that. So
yeah. Nick,
I feel like I could have so much more to say on what James just said.
I know. I want to hear.
Man, oof. For my take on this one, I am always going to approach it with intention. What do you use your gaming machines for, or what do you use your machines for? Period. End of story. Something about the MacBook for me is it's really good if you are a student, if you're someone on the go, maybe professional, and want to do some light gaming on the side. Because the biggest thing for me is that 8 gigabytes of RAM. That is going to be a massive bottleneck for anyone who plays up-to-date AAA titles. That's just not going to work. There's a reason we've had so many issues with RAM shortages, graphics cards being re-released with less RAM in them now because of the cost to creators. Like, I love that this is a affordable option to get into like the Mac ecosystem, which has always been notoriously expensive and difficult to
Mhm.
get into. It's one of the reasons I never did get into them, and now I just have my preference for Android kind of thing. Like my wife has an iPhone. When I borrow it from her, it's like it confuses me sometimes. I know that a lot of people in my family who are older love the Mac ecosystem. So yeah, it'd be really great for those people, casual gamers, people who want like that kind of like premium daily driver kind of thing, like some of those games you were mentioning. That's
Yep.
cool that it could do that for that price and have really good performance and have long battery life, and be able to play like the PS4 era game titles, that well. It's just kind of like when you compare it to what the Steam Deck kind of thing. What the Steam Deck can offer right now, like that's the big thing. Is like which Steam Deck can you get? Which Steam Deck can you afford? Because that's
Yep.
really for the dedicated gamers. That's the one that comes
Yep.
with the extra RAM, but it's got a lower display quality than the Mac. So you kind of just picking and choosing with that. Like I said, depending on what your intention is, depending on what your needs are, it's great that that is a fanless laptop that size for that price, and you can still get some gaming done on it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, if you need to go on the go, if you've got a little bit more of like a professional life to uphold, then great. But if you're like gaming dedicated, especially with the Steam library that you have and how many games we have right now that you just want to be able to play and not have issues, it just, like I said, that's where it kind of comes from when I'm looking at it. But cool, really cool.
No, all of those points are absolutely valid. She is exactly the person that you described. Like she's not heavy dedicated, but when she sits down to play something, and she's really hyper focused on that thing. She wants to play that thing. She doesn't want to play everything else. And it's like I looked at this and I was like, I think this is the thing specifically made for you, right? Like more than anyone else I know, because I've watched her, over the past 20 years go through just a series of laptops and nothing ever really fit. And I'm watching how this is just flowing into her general day-to-day life, using it to, sit down and do that light browsing, looking at YouTube and, all that other stuff. But then she can also do this on this machine. And interesting kind of a note for her, she's like, I'm on Windows every damn day for work. And she's like, I fucking hate Windows now. And so for her, there's a smoother mental transition that, oh, this is the machine that I disconnect from work with and can get in there and actually, still do things and
Yeah.
just have things go. And I'm like, that's really interesting. Right. But when I look at this and I see this, and then they're sitting there going, the PS5 Pro is going to set you back about $1,000. Sony has lost their fucking mind, right? And if they're talking about the next generation of hardware is coming in at 4 figures, they're about to kill consoles. And so I've just spent the past few weeks taking a step back and looking at more valid places to play games and different ways to do it. Like, and this is my final thought on this, but on my stream, I sat down and again we came back to the PC problem. And I was like, if someone wanted to get into gaming and as many avenues as possible and as cheaply as possible, I'm like, I don't think I would tell them to buy the latest, greatest console. I'm like, if I had to tell someone, I'm like, you know what? I'm probably going to tell you to go buy an Android Pixel phone for portable gaming because there's a lot of really good emulation that's going on over in the Android space. I'm like, oh, if you want to play Game Boy games, right? You want to play old DS games. I'm like, they got really good at that shit. So I'm like, oh, get you a Pixel phone.
If you can sort the market too, there's some just mobile specific games that are amazing and kind of approaching the level of a lot of these console games too, not just emulation.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about like the cloud gaming. You can stream right to your phone, your Xbox games, and play them, especially with the controllers you can attach to them, right? But
right.
that's one of the reasons like the lower cost of this is because they have so many of those mobile chips that they're using as the basis for this. It just makes sense for Apple to be doing this, for Mac to do this. It will drive adoption. It will get people into their ecosystem.
It's driving
as long
adoption.
As long as they don't start like microtransactioning little things out of it. Like,
Yeah, if they do that, that's going to be terrible. And basically, just the idea is that I looked at this and I was like, I would tell someone to get a phone with a backbone controller, and then I would tell someone to get a Switch 2 for if they have any weird, esoteric, quirky little things. I'm like, I could literally say, go get a Google Pixel phone, right? Because that way you're getting constant updates. Get you a Switch 2 for those really weird games that require weird controls, and get yourself a $600 laptop. And I'm like, I've gotten you out the door with multiple options for less than $1,600, right? Where, again, just RAM and a video card alone is going to, set you back $1,000. Now, granted, you can bring all those specs down, but it is getting harder and harder. And this is the thing that makes me uncomfortable. It gets harder and harder to sell console gaming, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I've said it before, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it maybe in a month or so. We could do a whole panel on it, but this gaming generation specifically has been a disappointment across the board.
It's
I feel
weird.
for a lot of people, or it's been a dip compared to other ones. It's one of the reasons, and I told James this when I sold my Xbox to him, was PC just offers so much more with a lower bar of entry and cheaper games for me without subscriptions. Like, it just, everything that's going on in the gaming industry as a whole, it just made more sense for me to double down on what I could do on my PC.
Or, in other
Anyway,
words,
not to
shit got
run out
rough.
the time on this.
Shit got rough over the past 6 years. Back to you, Nick. Like, the industry got fucking weird. Like, no, you're 100% right. It all got weird. It's all weird, right? Like, even seeing people jump down Nintendo's throat. How dare you charge $400 for that Switch? And then that RAM just up and disappeared. Fucking AI Thanos snapped the shit out of the RAM. And now everyone's like, oh, everything's more expensive now.
Yeah, just driving down to see my parents recently, like all the gas stations being down for the low one. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's not fun.
I know we're about out of time, and I feel very silly for asking this question, but did we mention the stuff that's happening with Epic? Did we talk about that at all?
No, and that. I feel like that is definitely something that we can go into pretty decent length with. If anything, if not on the Discord, definitely next week.
Yeah, I think I had it on the news last week.
Yeah, it was ugly. It is ugly. Just everything is ugly. Long story short, people, Epic laid off 1,000 people, and Fortnite is just going down the tubes. That's it.
There you go,
Nick. Everything is awful, just like we said. No, this is just the worst.
Oh well, we're in for more awful news because Ace has a special announcement.
Oh boy!
All right, so listen, just real quick, special news bulletin. Recently,
There you go.
There you go. Recently, we actually added a new section of channels in the Discord, Academy Classes. Now, these channels are going to house the content that we've covered through the week of the show and will be curated by their respective professors. So if you want some, after-school credit, make sure to check out these form factor sections that you will find on the Discord. So instead of, the live running commentary and running chats that's usually in the Discord channel, if you want something that's a little bit, something that runs a little bit cooler, something that's a little bit more old school, definitely check out the Academy class sections in the Discord. Also, make sure you join the Discord because, the conversation will continue there long after the show's over. But also, before we move on, I want to go ahead and take a quick second to show some respect to the father of the brawl, Yoshihisa Kishimoto, the creator of Kunio-kun and Double Dragon. At the Gaming Academy, we're big fans of that era and the kind of games his work helped define. Hell, we wouldn't have Muso without the beat-em-up, and we wouldn't have the beat-em-up without Kishimoto-sensei. That arcade side-scrolling beat-em-up energy is part of the reason a lot of us love this medium the way we do. His games didn't just give us something to play. They gave the industry a blueprint. So, from all of us here at the Gaming Academy, rest in peace to a real one.
May
A
he
lot.
be as loved in heaven as much as he fucking hated us as kids on Earth, which means it's going to be huge. They're going to love that guy because his hate for us as children was immense. God, I love Target Renegade. I love those games, and boy, that man was out there like, "Hey, fuck these kids up, man. Give them a rough
Right.
time." No, it's a tragedy. We just keep losing.
But on a bit of a positive note, though, I also want to bring to light, or bring to everyone's attention that one of our students has been putting in the work, and I mean this, like you, one of the hardest working guys at the academy outside of the faculty, and they've been gaming, they've been grinding, questing, discovering, playing with intention, and so much more. And what's important, he's been bringing the rest of the class along for the ride. So, a huge shout out to Jagos on our Discord, a regular contributor to the Headmaster's desk, and one of our regulars here at the Academy. He's been an all-star in our Now Playing channel, especially showcasing running commentary and running captures of the games that he's been playing. This right here is exactly why the Academy, from here forward, will be giving him his own channel called Jagos Quest, where you'll be able to follow his gaming adventures and learn more about his insights in the gaming world. Currently, he's honoring Yoshihisa's work in our Now Playing channel on Discord, showcasing the first level of every game that Kishimoto Sensei has created or inspired. You definitely want to check it out.
That's amazing.
Good stuff.
And with that, we've hit the final checkpoint, and it's time to step up to this week's final boss. James, hit it.
Let's go. All right. We're going to be doing the final boss.
Excellent.
Thanks, Shao. This week's final boss is titled Inventory Management. Now, we've been doing lots of final bosses here, and we're hitting all the points. I'm not sure if we really covered inventory management yet and why that is relevant to your final boss fight. But hey, tonight we're going to cover it. So think about this. You ever open your inventory in a game and realize it's full, not with what you need, but with everything you refuse to let go of? I know I have. Look behind me. Extra weapons you might use later. Items you picked up out of habit. Things that used to matter, but don't matter anymore. And now you can't pick up what actually matters. Games have always taught us this lesson. In many games, every slot counts. Ever play RE4 on super agent mode? Yeah. You don't get unlimited space. You don't get to carry everything. So you're forced to ask, what do I actually need to survive this? Now, in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we quote this a lot, weapons break. Not because the game is punishing you, but because it's teaching you something. Stop holding on to what's useful and be ready for what's next. Always be ready. Now, let me ask you something, guys. When was the last time you checked your inventory in real life? Because some of us are walking around overloaded, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, carrying old failures, old expectations, old versions of ourselves that we've already outgrown. And just like in a game, it's costing you. It's slowing you down. It's taking up space. It's preventing you from picking up new opportunities, new relationships, and new growth. Now, here's the truth. You don't need more capacity. You need better management, because the strongest players, they just don't grind. They don't just collect. They choose. They know when to drop the item, sell the gear, let go what no longer serves the build, even if it was valuable once. That's the hard part, letting go of something that used to matter. But if you don't, you stay stuck, over encumbered, unable to move forward when the next level demands more from you. So here's your final boss question for tonight. What are you still holding on to? What's keeping you from leveling up? Because growth isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you're willing to release. So you've trained, you've leveled up. Now it's time to clear your inventory and make room for what's next. That is your final boss for tonight. All right, panel.
Did you know that is your best final boss ever?
Oh, I did not know that.
No, that one was that was actually incredible. That's something that I guarantee you 75% of people alive need to hear. What are you holding on to that you don't need to be carrying anymore? And they need permission to let go. Right? Sometimes we hold on for so long to something just because it's pure habit at that point, not realizing that you are in a completely different place than what you were before. Nick could tell you the exact same thing. We're very different men before we became fathers, and then we became fathers, and we had to take on different kinds of responsibilities, and we had to let certain things go, right, in order to grab something greater, right?
Yep, including gaming.
It's just one of those things, right? So no, that was a really good one. I like that. I want you to make sure you take that, clip that, you take that, put it up on YouTube. You know, take the proceeds, put them in your pocket, go get you some nice crazy bread from fucking Little Caesars. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
You know, you're like, oh yeah, crazy bread. Yeah, I deserve it. You do deserve it. That was a good one.
Anybody else have some inventory to release?
No, he covered it for me, and I said it there. Like, being a new dad means I've had to let go of a lot of preconceptions about myself and a lot of things that I thought I'd be able to do that I just do not have the time for anymore. So I'm already in the middle of that transition. I'm already clearing out my inventory.
Perfect.
Out of necessity.
Yeah.
Ace, on the other hand, has another Muso he's not letting go of.
Hey,
I don't know how many months it took us to get him to change the battery in his fire alarm. Like, it's an ongoing process.
But here's the thing, though. I am actually in the middle of, something similar on a more micro scale. I mean, over the, while we were in the green room before the show, I did mention that I was, starting to expand my, casting a wider net as far as my streaming goes. So now I'm actually, taking that next step to start, streaming on Kick and working towards the affiliate, the verification, and eventually, partnership there. And here's the thing. There's not as much competition on Kick as there is on Twitch. However, it is still very much a sort of Wild West frontier, and there's a lot, not just habitually, but mentally, that I got to clear out of the inventory so that way I can optimize and evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch has a lot of baggage. YouTube has a lot of baggage.
Yep.
Right? Sometimes a change of venue can change everything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, actually, more personal thing, but I actually changed roles at work not too long ago. Like, I started my first week now as an account manager versus an account executive. What's the difference is it's not as salesy as the other one. So it's different. And, I was talking to my manager, I guess you won't call him that, but he's training me, and I'm kind of like, wow, this is not as aggressive as sales, and it's going to take me a second to like lock into this because of I'm so used to like being so aggressive, going to talking to people.
You got to shift mentality.
Yeah, no, 100%.
100%.
I was asking him, I was like, oh, how aggressive do you want us to be? He's like, well, it's not sales. You one call is fine. Don't gotta call, text, and like I was thinking still sales. So that's my change coming up. I got to let go of that old stuff and learn the new stuff.
Well, I was about to say, if it helps, just consider this, and I'm sure you probably already have, but just this might be reiterating it for you. There's a difference between executive and manager. Executive, you're executing, you're going out there. As a manager, you've already got it locked in, so now you're doing maintenance.
Right. Yeah, there's
taking care of what's there.
There's a Chinese saying, how can you put more tea in your cup when it's full, right? It's just going to overflow. So you got to empty it out for new stuff to come in. So
my cup runneth over.
Yep.
Yes, that if the one. Well, that's it, guys. Any last takeaways before I close it out for tonight? It was a fun return to the show.
Just one.
Okay.
Dear God, I hope this coming week doesn't suck as bad as these past 3 months did. That's
assume
all.
it's going to.
I just want to hear something good. Somebody's like, "Hey, guess what? Like, we came out with a game and it's $5 and it's on every platform and it's cross-play and there's no DRM and everybody's gonna be happy." I'm like, hey.
But we had to lay off 1,000 people.
Right. Unfortunately, we had to sacrifice 5,000 puppies to get this game in. I'm like, that's fucking horrible. You're like, why would you tell me that?
Not good news. It's just not as bad news. Anyway, guys, it's just like that. Another class comes to a close. Tonight, we covered a lot of ground. We talked about an industry shift already happening in real time, where developers are no longer waiting for permission, no longer seeing the old system as the only path, and no longer needing the gate to create something meaningful. That was the heart of tonight's Headmaster's Desk. Now, not just that the industry is changing, but the power is moving, changing hands, would say. And when creators realize they can build on their own terms, the whole structure starts to shake. We've also traveled through gaming history again, from Ninja Gaiden 2, because I hate birds, and its challenge to Daikatana and whatever happens when the hype outruns execution, to Crazy Taxi, finding a weird little second life on the go, to KOF 12, showing us that looking good and playing great are not always the same thing. And even that conversation between Alundra and Midnight Club 3, 2 very different games, 2 very kinds of legacy. And then after the news, the rumors, and the deals, and everything else tonight brought to the table, we end where we needed to end. The final boss, inventory management, because that lesson hits harder than most people realize. A full inventory doesn't always mean you're prepared. Sometimes it means you're carrying too much. Too many old expectations, too many old versions of yourself, too many things that used to matter, but don't belong in the build anymore. And if your hands are full for what no longer serves you, throw it away. You won't be able to pick up what's next. And that's the real question from tonight's class. What are you holding on to that's keeping you from leveling up? Because growth is not about just what you add. It's about what you're willing to release, right? So now go clear inventory and make room for what's next, right? And we'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.
Class dismissed.
Mission complete.